Hey there guys, and welcome back to another episode of Factorio 0.17 Vanilla Start to Finish. I'm Xterminator, and thank you for joining me. We're back where we left off. I added 2 more labs here, so we have a total of 5, and I believe this should be enough science packs to keep up with that. It may take a minute to kind of get past and build up its initial buffer, but we can always add more if it's not. So that's going to crank away at this to get us green science. And while we wait for that, we're going to set up a little more power because our power is a bit more than halfway, about 3/4 of the way being used here, and we want to add even more miners and stuff, so that's just going to increase power even more. So my goal today is to get some circuits set up and hopefully maybe even start on some green science. We'll see how things go. Now I do want your feedback on something. I'm curious if you guys would like to see every single thing I do, like it has been, where I just, end an episode and start the next one right where the last one ended, and you see everything, or if you would like me to do some off-camera work and get things built and stuff, and then we come back and, some things have been done in between episodes. Let me know down in the comments which way you'd prefer, because I've had people say that, some people say, they'd kind of prefer maybe if I skip some of the early game, but then I know some people really prefer to see what I'm doing in its entirety. So, it's obviously going to be kind of split, but I'm hoping one way or the other, there will be something that's a bit more overruling than the other. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this up, and while I'm doing this is I'm going to add a pipe, because we have a little bit of a dilemma here. If we don't do this, we couldn't put power poles in between, and with these dinky little level 1 power poles, you can't fit them here, but with this pipe and spread out, you can stick them right in this gap. There's a few ways you could do it as well. You could put like a pipe between boilers and do it that way. There's a few other ways you can do it, but this is my preferred method, is just doing it like this, and then we'll just have to do something like that, and then make one of these. We're almost out of iron, so that kind of messes that up a little bit. But one more steam engine will help. It's another 600 or 900 kilowatts. I'm going to dump the rest of my iron in here because we're about to go get more. We have finished that research, and thanks to our research queue, we're just moving straight on to steel processing. And something else that's interesting that's changed is the level 2 assemblers, which we have not unlocked yet. But those level 2 assemblers actually require steel now to make, which is a bit of a jump. Because, before they didn't do that, and you didn't have to get steel set up. And, but this is this is kind of countered a little bit by the fact that even level 1 machines can make things with more than 2 ingredients. Because previously you would need to unlock and then build a level 2 assembling machine for making inserters, because they take 3 ingredients, which is what's needed in these logistic science packs. However, level 1 machines can actually do this now, albeit a bit slower, so we can actually get this set up here fairly quickly. As you can see, we need to make some circuits automated, because this is becoming quite a problem, getting all these circuits handcrafted and stuff like this. I'm just going to pick up some more materials here, just kind of hoover, vacuum the belts up. And I'm going to go see what belt we have built up there. So making all that. Now, in terms of fast inserters, that should come along with here. So I'm actually going to queue this up after this, so we can get our fast inserters too. Those will be really, really helpful for the circuits. So we don't have all that much belt, unfortunately. I'm going to dump a bit more iron in here. I'm going to dump 80 in there and then 50 in there. And grab a little bit more, and we'll start on our circuit build, which I'm going to try to fit in here. Now, we are going to need quite a bit of circuits, and gears I would like to put on the bus. I'm not sure if we're going to have room for that. We'll have to see. This probably won't extend. If we go to blue belt, this would need to be longer. However, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if we would end up moving it back, or if I should account for that, because if we go blue belt, we would need like 36 of these per side, I believe is what it is. We're just going to stick it out to like here-ish. We would have room for a circuit build here. We would, however, not have room for gears. We could put gears on the other side of red science. We are making the gears locally here, just because I think that's just easiest for red science. But I really would like to put gears on the bus. So perhaps we put circuits here, and then we put gears next to red, and then we do green after that or something. It's a little bit wonky, a little bit different than I normally like to do, but changing up your builds is a good thing. It's good to experiment and do different stuff. So what I'm going to do is do something like this. Okay, so basically, I apologize for that. My Discord, even though I'm in streamer mode or whatever when I'm recording, it still gives me notifications even though I fixed these settings. I don't know why it does this. So I keep having to put myself in Do Not Disturb. So what we're doing here is circuit. So the ratio for these is 3 to 2. We'll look at this a little bit closer here. Now, there's a few ways we can do this. Something like that would work. We won't need this many once we get fast inserters, which should actually be pretty soon here. So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward ratios. You know, this takes 3 cable every half a second. Each one of these makes 2 cable. You can see up there, 2 cable every half second. So, 3 machines would make 6 cable every half a second, and that would be consumed by 2 electronic circuit machines, right? Because each one takes 3. 3 times 2 is 6. That's how much we're outputting. So this is like a perfect ratio. You can do a 1-to-1. A lot of speedrunners do 1-to-1 because it's a lot quicker to set up, and it doesn't matter like a ton that you get the ratio right. But when we're doing an actual like normal factory here, I do like to try to get these ratios pretty on point. Okay, so we're inserting the cable directly here. A cable is something you pretty much never want to put on a belt. Unless it's red circuits are an exception, in my opinion. It's not what I wanted at all. Red circuits are an exception when you're going to make those, in my opinion. But like green circuits, they just require so much cable so quickly that belting it is not really efficient at all. So we're going to run iron here. Going to output here. We're going to run copper here. Like this. And I'm going to make some more belt. Luckily, we have a whole belt of iron we can just scoop up here. And then we can mirror this on this side. And this probably still won't leave room for our furnaces. It'll be close enough. So we now have fast inserters, actually. Let's start making some of those. We should actually wait until the circuit production's going, because these take a lot of circuits. So let's get some of these crafted. So iron can split right here. Now, I could split from this line for the copper. Again, that's not really something that I want to do, because splitting like again and again from a line that's already split off, if that makes sense, is not ideal. I mean, we're kind of doing that with the main line here, but again, I would recommend never splitting off from a subline like that, unless it's like part of the same build. Okay, so we're going to run this through. Of course, lines are going to go through here, but we can underground it once we get to that point, because I don't know the exact spacing things are going to be right now, so I'm just kind of throwing belts wherever I need them. Okay, so there's that. This guy can go here. We'll do that, like that. And then this guy's going to output, of course. And we do have a few assemblers left. I can make a couple more here. Like that. And this guy actually... Now, there's a few ways we could do this. We could have normal inserters output here and then share the iron line. But again, these are very resource heavy, just in general. So I actually like to have separate iron lines and separate copper lines for each side. So what we're going to do is something like this, and then we can do long-handed. And how I'm copy-pasting, by the way, for this is you control right-click the thing you want to copy, and then control left-click what you want to paste. So if we reset this, for example, you can see it's shift, my bad, shift. Shift right-click, copy, and then shift left-click to paste. When I hold shift, you can see it's highlighting this. This is saying this is the one I've copied, so paste. Shift left-click to paste that. It's really nice rather than having to go in and set every single thing. So fast inserter is done. That's actually finished all that. Let's get steel axe research. This would be like equivalent to making a steel axe. Get that. Let's get... I don't actually have much more, I suppose. We'll just go with those for now. Okay, so let's drop this into here. This is, again, going to share this belt. Now, there's a few other ways you can do this. Have it work a bit better farther down the line, but we can always redesign this build later on if we need to. Okay. So let's get at least this half of things set up here. So this should actually work as long as we hook up a power pole right here. It's not going to be super quick, but it is going to do something. So you can see here, this is working. It is a little bit bottlenecked on iron. You can see how it's kind of being highlighted red there every once in a while. So this is when these fast inserters are going to come in handy. I'm just going to keep scooping that up. To just minimize some inserters, I'm going to fast inserter this so we can remove some there, and then I'm going to fast inserter these guys as well. And that should get this running pretty much fully. You can see there's now no bottleneck whatsoever. It is backed up here. This will just build up an inventory, a little bit of an inventory inside itself. Not very much, but we can now make some more assemblers and get the other side going, and that will be about ready for us to start on some green science. This amount of circuits will actually last for a decent while. Things start getting really circuit heavy, like once you make a red circuit or advanced circuit, whatever you want to call them, build. But right now, that's not really going to be a problem. And then we'll make 3 more. Grab some belt, run it along the back here. Hook this. Again, we could split off here, which I may actually end up doing in this particular case. I'm not really a fan of it. We'll do this. This will change once we get a second iron line in here. The split offs are going to be a bit different. I'm going to be splitting off. I'm going to be combining, like, pulling from both of these iron lines at once. It'll make more sense once I do it and I can show you more effectively. But we will be pulling evenly from those iron lines instead of just all from this one like we have been. And then this thing as well, pull from here. Need a lot of belt. Green science does take belt though, so luckily we can put a little box on the belt machine when we set up green science and stockpile some belt there. We will want probably like a dedicated mall for making the belt at some point, but right now I'm a bit focused on science more than anything else, because that's actually our bottleneck, right? After we finish these 2 researches, aside from 2 military ones, we actually can't research anything else until we make that green science. So it's pretty important that we get that underway. Okay, so this guy's going. This is going to start working. As you can see, we now have circuits on both sides, which is fantastic. This is a point where we will need to start planning out spacing. Currently, we have 2 lines of iron, 2 lines of copper. This may change. Really, things have swung so heavy on the copper side. I feel like 2 lines of iron, once we upgrade them to red belt, may actually be sufficient. Yeah, because science really doesn't take all that much iron at this point. It does take a fair bit for steel, but that's a separate build. We're not going to be making steel off of this iron plate. So in terms of just flat out iron plate, we don't need a ton. We need a lot of copper though. So I think 2 iron plate lines. This is different. Normally I would say an absolute minimum of 4 iron lines, but for what we're doing here, I think 2 is actually going to work. So then, what I like doing is leaving 2 spaces in between your different sections, I'll call them. And why we do this is so we can have undergrounds running through it, right? Because if I do this, I now can run undergrounds through here. If you only leave a gap of 1, you obviously can't do that because it's just going to hit here and then you can't put your other flap. So this is a good practice to leave 2 spaces. So this next set is going to be copper, and I'm gonna set this up for 4. Mostly for rocket parts, because these new low density structures are extremely copper heavy. Holy cow, 20 copper plate up from I think 5 is what it was. So this is now 4 times as expensive copper wise, as well as other things. So I'm gonna set this up. This may completely change. I'm not sure. This may or may not be sufficient. This is kind of what this playthrough's for too, guys. It's just experimenting. Seeing what are these new ratios? What do things look like in terms of material costs? So what we're doing here is we're going to, again, 2 spaces like that. This is going to be our circuit line. Don't need it back there, obviously, but that was for spacing. So there we go. Circuit line's going to run here, and we're working now on heavy armor, which is great. That is going to require some steel. Really, we haven't even been attacked yet. However, I should make... I can't believe I forgot to make a normal armor. Oh, geez. Does not bode well. Okay, so we've got circuits. Let's make a few more assemblers. We're still stuck on these level 1 dudes, which is a little bit annoying. We can scoop... I'm just going to scoop some gears off here and some circuits. This will make creating these things far easier. Okay, so then we want to leave room for gears over here. A gear build is like super simple, and I'm going to actually ghost place some of this. So, well, I want green on the other side of this belt, so maybe we're not going to do that. I'm not sure where we're putting gears. I'll put gears somewhere. Okay, so here is our green science. And I'm doing 6, again, because this is the base rate we talked about last episode. These take 6 seconds. These took 5, so I built 5 assemblers. These take 6, so I'm building 6 assemblers. So we have that. Now these need belt, of course, and then they need inserters. Both of these take gears. This is when a... Okay, maybe, you know what? Maybe I should just put gears here and just not worry about... I mean, we will want this blue belt eventually. I could expand it backwards, though. We have 24. I think it goes to, what, 35 or so? So it's 10 more, which is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, like, if we do this, this would fit. Even back here. Because a lot, that's probably going to be mined out by the time we get blue belt. So, we could expand it backwards. I think that might be what I do. So I think we'll put gears over here. But for now, let's continue setting up the infrastructure for our green science. So we have that. Let's see. There's several... Usually I just wing this, to be honest. I like just coming up with builds on the fly. It helps me stay in practice instead of just blueprinting everything all the time. So one of these is going to be inserters. This needs circuits, iron gears, and iron plate. That's what we're actually going to do. It's going to seem a little bit finicky. But we are actually going to have gears coming over here, so... No, we can do this. We can do it that way. Okay, so this is going to be... Let's say this is... that. This is belt. Let's get some fast inserters. So that was the last of our red research that we can do. Well, mostly. Probably wouldn't hurt to get some bullet damage and stuff. Might as well. Okay, so we're going to have you export there. I really don't want to build higher than this. So this is where we have a bit of a issue. Change my mind. That's going to be belt. This is going to be gears. Oh, but we're having gears come down. I keep forgetting this. Usually I build my gears locally for this. But if we have gears coming down... I mean, I could just build the gears locally here. No. This is a hard choice, guys. Okay, so... I'm sorry. Okay, so this is belt. Boom. This is belt. You're not moving again. So, one of these iron, one of these gears... make the first one be iron. Boom. Second one will be gears. That'll come down. And then that's going to output over here. So then we need something on the close side, right? We need inserters, which, I mean, really, inserters could just go here. So these need inserters, which are going to need circuits and gears. Circuits, and then gears will come down, and then iron will come down. Okay, so, well, we already have circuits, so really, we don't need any of that. So this can just actually have a ton of inserters inserting into the inserter machine. So let's see, we need gears, iron, circuits. There's a lot of stuff. We may actually want to bring some over on this side. Again, iron will just pull over. There's a lot of split offs. It'll work. It'll be a lot better once we get a second line of iron. This is obviously going to be a very high demand on this one line, but it'll be fine. This can be circuits or gears, one or the other. And then gears on the bus are going to be, there's probably space for 2 circuit lines. So then gears are going to be like, really, we probably only need 1 belt of gears, but, and I know copper is up here right now, and I said it was going to be down here. We're going to move it in the near future, just scooch it down this way. That's like something I'll do off camera for sure, because that's really not that interesting. Now, a good rule of thumb, this is going to move anyway, so it doesn't matter in this particular case, but a good rule is to underground your crossover lanes, like your sub lanes here, instead of undergrounding your bus. Usually, it's a lot more efficient to underground the crossovers, because it's only 1 lane usually, instead of undergrounding all the lanes on your bus. So, do this. Actually, there is a quick replace thing that I keep forgetting. You can just underground on top of it, and we'll replace the ones in the middle. Okay, so one of these is gears. Keep running out of belt, man. Really need this belt machine turned on. In fact, I'm gonna just stick a box here preemptively so I don't forget. If it is craft. I do really like these new box graphics as well. Boom. Okay, we will cap this a bit because, you know, we don't need a whole chest of belt at the moment. So he's going to come down. This was going to be what? Gears? So gears can go like that. This guy's going to come over. That. So we'll need to set up some gear production. That may have to wait till next episode. And then circuits, of course. So to show you this underground quick replace thingy, if you just go like this, you can see how it highlighted red in there. It'll just get rid of them. I forget that because that didn't used to be a thing for a very long time. And I'm a very old player, so when they implement these new things, this wasn't implemented this update even. This was like an update or so ago, but it's still hard for me to get used to some of this stuff. So, some underground here. And then this could also be gears, and then this one can be circuits, I suppose. Doesn't really matter. It'd probably be easier, actually, for this one to be circuits, now that I'm looking at it. So there's circuits, and then this guy will be gears. This won't work, obviously, because we don't have gears. I'm not sure. Let me look at the time. We are about 25 minutes. I think I'm going to have to end it here, guys. We didn't quite get green science set up, but we're super close. I may just set up a gear production area in between episodes. It's because it's extremely simple. It's just, you know, an iron line, some as simple as grabbing the iron and making gears and then outputting. And I'm going to tie that in. I'm going to probably move this copper line down so we have that where it actually should be. And then we will have green science underway for next episode, and that should last us for a good while. There's a ton of science that is just red and green here. I mean, you can see it's like half the tech tree right now. So this will keep us going for a very long time while we work on other things in the base and do some fighting as well. I'm really quite surprised we haven't been attacked. These forests are helping massively with this pollution spread. So that's going to do it. Again, leave your thoughts below in terms of if you'd like to see every single thing I do, or you'd like me to do work on the base in between episodes and kind of skip part of this early game, or what you'd like to see in terms of that. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like, leave any other thoughts and questions below. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.